Thank you for your time today. So my name is Albert Palma. I'm the CEO of GCON4. And first of all, I would like to thank Unit4 for giving us the opportunity to do this webinar jointly and for promoting this webinar across customers. Okay. And the idea today will be we will show a demo of a product which is called GCON4 MFL. This product will allow you to improve the data management you do in Unit4 ERP. So in essence, will also help you on the productivity you are getting from the product itself. Okay, I think some people are still joining. Now, so the agenda for today. I will do a brief introduction about who are we, GCON4 as a company, and also an introduction about the product itself. And then Jon, my colleague Jon, who is here also, will help me to do a demo of the product. So he will show you some clear illustrations on how you can use the product to improve your productivity. And also with us, we have here also Ivan Tang, project manager from one of our value customers, Metro Vancouver. They have been using the system for many years, and he will share his experience using the tool. And then we will leave some minutes, okay, to clear some doubts you may have and all that. So if you have any doubt, my recommendation would be, you can type in on the chat. We will try to solve them on the chat itself, or at the end we will try to respond to all the questions that you may have. Okay, so about GCON4. GCON4, we are a Unit4 Elite partner. As you may know, Elite is the higher tier within all the partners. So, and also we are rated as five-star consulting partner from Raven Intel. We are conducting business in over 20 countries. On all 5 continents. Okay, so we have customers worldwide, and with an experienced team of more than 40 professionals working with our customers. Our products and services. As one of the main partners in Latin America, we are providing the Unit4 ERP financial localizations for Unit4, including Mexico, as you can see there, Colombia, Bolivia, Dominican Republic, Peru. And also we develop what we call Unit4 ERP add-ons, like for example, GCON4 MFL, a tool that you will see today, and exchange rate loader, which is a tool that allows you to always keep your exchange rate table up to date with the latest exchange rates in the market. Also, as a premium partner, we also develop together with Unit4 add-ons, not only for Unit4 ERP, but also for Unit4 ERP X. So in this case, we also develop GCON4 iConnect, which is a tool that is similar concept as GCON4 MFL, but in this case for Unit4 ERP X. On top of that, of course, as any other partner, we provide all kind of consultancy service and global support as well. Okay, just to mention, all our products are cloud approved, okay, for Unit4, so can be available not only on premise, of course, but also in the Unit4 cloud, including GCON4 MFL, which is the one that we will talk today. So what about MFL? What does it do? Basically, MFL do the uploads. When I say uploads, I mean insert, but also updates of master data, but also transactional data. Not only including standard fields, but also any related flexi field, relation, and even document archive. Okay, so MFL is very easy to use. You just need to have your Unit4 ERP set up with all your flexi fields, relations, and document types. So you will be able to generate Excel sheet based on your existing configuration, including the data in the system. You are able to extract the data in the system, so it allows you to modify data in the Excel extracted from the system and then upload it back using MFL again to the system with all the amendment logging and everything. Okay, so what are the key features? As I mentioned, data management. We are able to manage data of all key Unit4 ERP elements. Okay, we will see what are those elements later on, including not only the standard fields as I mentioned, but also flexi fields, relations and document archive. On top of that, you can also use MFL as a third-party software integration engine because it facilitates the fact that if you need to do some inbound customizations from external system to Unit4 ERP, you can easily use MFL for that without many customizations. Now, in terms of, it's totally embedded, integrated within Unit4 ERP cloud and web. Okay, so it has the same Unit4 ERP look and feel. You will see that it's just an additional point of menu, and the screens are exactly the same the standard Unit4 screens. Also, we have developed a server process. Most of you are familiar with the product. So this server process, it works as any other server process in Unit4 ERP. So it's queue-based. And you can even, as any other server process, you can customize it. You can, with ACT, with AG16s. So, and you can automate things with Intel Agent and the server process, okay, to automate copies from one client to another very easily. You know, if there is a trigger here, there's some information in this client, you want to replicate that in another client, you can achieve that using MFL with the server process as well. All this, John will show you later on some real scenarios that our customers usually use MFL for. Now, in terms of data management, we have divided, so here are the elements that we are able to upload. We divided them based on different work streams. From the admin work stream, we are able to upload, you see there, all the list, okay? Roles, users, even any user-defined attribute. From finance perspective, we cover the main things that you need to upload and set up. Same for sales to cash, procure to pay, and even project management. And in this case, as I mentioned, so not only for all these elements that we are able to upload, we are not only able to upload the standard fields of Unit4 ERP, but also any related document archive, relation, and flexi field. In terms of HR, same. So we are able to upload anything on the employee records, including applicants, okay, on the position, anything related to position, we are able to upload. Workforce management for work schedules and so on. Even payroll, we have the main elements for payroll are there as well to upload. And also training admin, where you can see that we can upload course codes, course IDs, and so on. Again, here the same. I mean, not only the standard fields, but any related document archive, relation, and flexi field. Everything at once. Okay, that's the beauty of it. So how does it work? Basically, we have developed our custom web service. And this web service is based on Unit4 platform, in a sense that we are doing exactly the same validations that Unit4 is doing. We do exactly the same validation. So there is no risk on data integrity, on uploading wrong data into the system. It works with workflow, a standard workflow. It works with amendment logging. and it works with any standard feature of Unit4 ERP, as you know. So that's really secure. Now, worldwide customers. Here you can see some of our customers. Okay, even Unit4 is using in the internal implementation GCON4 MFL for data management and data to improve their productivity as well. Okay, so now I'm gonna let Jon to continue with the interesting part, which is the live demo of the product, and where also you will see some scenarios where you can use MFL to improve your productivity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Albert. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'm gonna switch off my camera in order to make it a bit more faster. Okay, so as Albert was mentioning, nowadays GCON4 MFL is embedded within Unit4. Okay, so once you install MFL, you will see a new menu point where you will have all the options MFL needs in order to operate normally. Okay, one of the options is to generate the MFL file we need. As Albert was mentioning, the first step we need to do is to create an Excel sheet in where we will put the data that we want to upload or we want to update. Okay. Once we open the Generate MFL file option, we will see the list of all the master files or transactional data that MFL is able to handle currently. Okay. Of course, whenever we choose one of those elements, let's say customer, all customer related information will be shown in the tabs you see here. Okay. If we choose, let's say, project or personnel or whichever other master file, personnel related information will be shown in here. And one important thing is that any user-defined attribute that you may have in your system also is able to be handled by MFL. So as long as you choose the master file attribute, all user-defined attributes that you have in your system will come here, and you will be able to handle them as any other master file, let's say projects, customers, suppliers, or whatever. We are gonna do a very simple example with suppliers, okay? And in my example, we are gonna extract existing information of Unit4 of couple of suppliers, and in the same Excel that I extract this information, I'm gonna add a new supplier for you to see how even updates together with new inserts can be done using MFL. Okay, so first time to do that, for example, we need to choose the supplier master file. And whenever we choose any master file here, we will see the permissions that this user has to handle this specific element. In this case, create, update, and what we call retrieve. And those permissions are given in the standard role user-based access. So as long as for a specific user or a role, we give access to, let's say, account, to customers, if we want some specific users or roles not being able to update customers, we just need to delete or remove the option of updating. No deletes are allowed with MFL, so this last permission is useless. And creation, what we call retrieve, which is to get existing Unit4 information into the Excel or updates, can be handled very easily by adding or not the permissions through this screen. Okay, so once we are okay with the permissions we have, the next step is to go and select which are the elements, the fields that we want to include in the Excel we are handling. In this case, all the tabs will be divided in 3 different columns, which the first one will determine the name of the field we are handling. The second one, which is the name of the field but in the table, and a small description for us to know what is the field about. Some of them will come already checked. This means that are mandatory in the Excel we are creating, and the others, the user is able to check whether he or she wants to include them all as clicking here, or to go one by one selecting which are the elements that the user needs. For the address, exactly the same. If I want to include all of them, I just go and select that I want to include whichever elements or fields I want. The three tabs you see here, of course, address related ones, relations, or document archive is very easy. Everybody knows that, you know, what it means. But for those three tabs, this tab, each of them represent a different flexi field that you may have created for your supplier master file. In this case, I have a flexi group called values, have another one called table, another one called mix, and each of the flexi group contains different flexi fields. So those are the three tabs are represented here for the element supplier. Okay, so within the flexi group, I am able to tell the system which are the flexi fields I want to handle in the Excel I'm creating. In this case, for the example, I'm going to create all of them. Okay. So once I'm happy with the selection of the fields I'm going to include in the Excel, as I was mentioning, I'm going to include a filter for MFL to know that I am interested on getting specific suppliers, in this case, those that meet the criteria that in the supplier group belongs to 88, which are a couple of them. As you see here, I have a very simple information browser, and I have a couple of suppliers, the 78 and the 79, which will need to be some kind of updates. So that's why I'm creating here a line, a filtering, which is like a small browser, because we could add filterings like, not like, in list, not in list, empty, depending on what kind of field we are selecting. We will be able to choose one operator or others. Okay. So once I'm happy with the selection, I could choose whether I want to protect the workbook I'm creating or not. Okay. This means that if I make it password protected with this checked, the users receiving the Excel won't be able to change anything on them. Okay. And the structure will remain the same way as I created at this point of time. Okay. And the accepted values tab will bring us all the valid values that are linked to the supplier master file. You will see now how it works. Okay, so once I'm happy with the selections I did, I just proceed to generate my Excel. My Excel should look like the selection I just did, which will be the tabs that I just created with the two suppliers that I was showing to you belonging to supplier group 88. Okay, so of course, now in this Excel, I could change or update whatever fields I want in order to upload it back again. How this Excel sheet is structured is very easy. The first row will determine whether we can put or not default values for the fields we are handling. Each column will determine a specific field. And for supplier IDs, of course, no defaults are allowed. And we make it very clear for users to know it. But for the rest of the fields, for example, for supplier groups, okay, we could tell that all my supplier groups will be 10. So whether I have it 2 suppliers or I have 2,000, if I put 10 here, all will go against the supplier group 10. And this will apply for any field we have selected during the design phase. Okay. The second row will determine whether the field we are handling is mandatory or is optional. Mandatory in blue color, optional in gray color. If it's optional, we could even delete the column if we have permissions for that. You remember that I created password protected, so that's why I'm not able to delete now these optional fields. Okay, and those fields that we see here in orange color could be mandatory or optional depending whether we are doing an update or an insert of a new record. Okay, meaning that if we are doing an update, those fields that are coming in orange color are optionals, but if we are creating a new record, those fields that are coming in orange color are mandatory. Okay, and thirdly, The third row will determine whether the field we are handling is, the field itself, I would say, okay, with small tips for us to know what is the field about. For example, in this case, the upper ID in the database. For the supplier name, we make it very easy for users to know that the maximum length is 255, etc., etc. And for those fields that you see in blue color and a link is enabled, if I click in here in the supplier group ID, it will come, the Excel sheet will come to the accepted values tab, where I will see all the valid supplier groups that I have set up in Unit4 ERP. So for example, 07 or 10 or 1 are valid values. If the users come here and types 07 or 1, the cell will turn green, meaning that the user knows that the value he or she has typed is correct. But if I type something that is not coming in the accepted values, the cell will turn red, meaning that the user knows that the value he or she is typing is not correct. And this works exactly the same way for all the fields that are actually attribute values that are linked to the master file we are handling. Supplier group, country code. If I come here, all country codes will be shown for me. And when I type a not valid country code, the cell will turn red. The language, exactly the same. Head office, sundry, all the fields that are actually attributes with a specific attribute values that are handled by Unit4 and are existing values of Unit4 will come with this value as long as we mark this accepted values tab. Okay, that is this for. So in order to put up some information, those values, of course, with all these elements not correct, I cannot upload them, but I have prepared an Excel sheet, which is very similar to what I have created just now, okay, with the same suppliers I was showing to you, but we are gonna do a creation of a new supplier with some address related information, some relations. We are gonna attach a document. We are gonna put some flexi fields to this new supplier. And actually, we are gonna do an update on the existing suppliers. Okay, so we are gonna do two things: update the two existing suppliers and create a new supplier. How to do it using MFL? We go back to the MFL and we say, okay, load it. Now I'm gonna choose which is the file that contains the information I want to upload, and I press load. Order ID 130 has been launched, and if I go to my order reports, I will see that my task, as Albert was mentioning at the beginning, the task to launch the new load we want to perform has been done through a specific queue that we have created, because a server process has been created for that. In this case, it's telling me that 3 rows were successfully validated and uploaded. And if I go to check any of the existing suppliers, I will see that the supplier name has changed to AA. As you see, this is our time in Spain now. So as Albert was mentioning, all amendment logging has been respected. No inserts into tables are done. So everything is auditable and audits are kept 100%. Okay, so whatever changes I did for this or for the next one has been done. Okay. And of course, we were able also to create the new supplier, which is this one. And I was showing to you, of course, at this time, I was showing to you that this new supplier was containing some address related information, invoice payment relations were created, and even flexi fields were created automatically the way you saw. Even we were able to attach, in this case was a picture of some spring flowers but of course, any Word, Excel, PDF, anything that you are able to attach here manually, GCON4 MFL will also be able to attach it for you. So, in summary, what we have created is just by using a specific server process, and this is the process we are launching whenever the web MFL is executed, okay? We can put a file name in here, and the work is done by the standard Unit4 server process, okay? Having said that, I would like to continue my presentation with few illustrations on how our customers have improved their productivity using MFL. And I'm going to show you just real scenarios, but of course, MFL can be used for many other things. Those are only maybe give you a clue or a glimpse on how things can be done using MFL. Okay, for example, test scenario, when it comes to requisitions or purchase order, we need to do massive closing or massive amendments of requisitions or POs, because let's say our company have lots of requisitions. Those requisitions make lots of commitment, okay? And we need to release this commitment for whatever the reason is. The standard solution to do that would be to go one by one, closing them. If we have hundreds or thousands of requisitions, this could take long. With MFL, what we suggest is, okay, choose master file requisition, do whatever filtering you want in order to extract only those requisitions you want to update. And in the Excel sheet, it's very easy to close them down by setting the status to C or any other update. You want to change a flexi, you want to change a relation, whatever you want, okay? Another scenario, uploading attributes to many clients at once, okay? Important one and very useful for many of our customers. Our company has acquired 3 new companies or many other companies, okay? And we need to copy specific attribute values from one client to another client. How to do that? Usually, we need to do it manually by typing them, okay? What we suggest is, as I was showing to you, with the server process, with the standard Unit4 server process, as long as we put the Excel that comes with MFL, okay, with the structure that MFL needs, okay, we can put it in the server process, and with the standard Unit4 company option, we will be able to set which are the companies in where we need these changes or these updates to apply. So as long as we have one simple Excel of GCON4 MFL and combining it with the standard copy company or let's say company information, multi-company option that Unit4 has, we will be able to copy this specific data into the companies we are interested, be it 3 or be it 23, okay? It doesn't really matter. Multi-language for any attribute, okay? Our company must have a descriptions of attribute values, let's say in French, English, or whichever language we want, okay? A standard solution for that would be to go clicking in the test, attribute value by attribute value, putting the different descriptions for English, for French, for Spanish, for whatever the language is. With our solution, what we suggest is, okay, choose the master file attribute. As I was mentioning, all specific attributes will come down. And in the languages tab, you will be able to set for each specific attribute value, which are the descriptions for the different languages. So, of course, it's much easier in the Excel sheet to put all the descriptions. You save this Excel and you put the information back to Unit4. Okay. Managing projects and work orders. Okay. Our company, let's say, has many projects and work orders, and a resource that is a project manager or a work order manager leaves the company. Something that happens everywhere. And the system admin needs to change all the project manager, all the work order managers in all the master files of Unit4. Okay, how to do that in a standard way? You need to go manually doing it, and depending how many work orders you may have, it could take a lot of time. With our solution, what we suggest is, okay, choose the master file work order, bring those work orders in where you are interested, and of course, it's much easier once you have all the work orders that you want to change to do the changes in the Excel top to down, like saying, okay, the work order manager, the next one will be the 10,002 or the 10,003 or whoever we want. Okay, we massively change this field, we save the Excel and put back the information back to Unit4. Okay, and the fifth one, this is a bit advanced and bit more technical, but hopefully you are able to see all the potential functionality that we want to show with this. Okay, when for example copying products, but it could be projects, it could be resources, it could be customers, it could be any other master file. Okay, we want to copy products between our clients automatically. Let's say when a new product is created in a specific client, it must be replicated in many other clients of Unit4 ERP. Okay, our solution would be that through an Intel agent, we detect when new products are created. This is a small browser that is very easy to do, and we will link here in the server process the option to launch MFL server process. And in the server process, as you probably know, we can even not only use all the functionality of the server process, of course, one of the functionality we have available is to be able to link AG16s to the server process we are having. So basically, this means that by linking Intel agent with the server process functionality of MFL, we are able to replicate those products, those projects, those resources in many clients automatically, okay, without any customization. So from my side, this is what I had. I would like to go back and introduce you to Ivan Tang, who will be the one telling you about his real experience using MFL and how they solved really tricky situations using MFL. So when you want, Ivan, you can share your screen.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ivan. Hi, good morning. My name's Ivan Tang, and I'm a project manager with the Metro Vancouver company. We're a utility company that manages wastewater treatment and water distribution primarily for the Vancouver area in Canada. So we're a customer with Unit4 for a few years, and we've been a customer for MFL for also a few years. So today I'd like to tell you kind of the real scenarios of what we ran into after we implemented Unit4 in our first several years, and how we kind of overcome our challenges with the MFL tool. So I just want to give you a quick rundown of what I'm about to discuss in the next 10 minutes. I just want to give you a little background about our environments, our scenarios, and how we use Unit4, and also give you 3 use cases in terms of how we use MFL4 to address our challenges. So the first one there is a purchase order year-end rollover. Second one is the purchase order monthly auto close. And the last one there is the spending authority flexi table update. And I'll tell you how MFL has been valuable for us in terms of automating our processes and save us time and money. And lastly, to kind of talk and kind of give you share the information with you what we feel about their support level. So full disclosure, obviously we're not paid by Unit4 or MFL. We're just a customer like yourself who find that in some scenarios Unit4 give us challenges in terms of automations and doing certain work, and this is how this tool help us. So we have been a customer since 2016. That's when we acquired the software and started our configuration journey. And we went live in 2018 in January. So that's the first year. That's about 4 years ago. And but But since the started of the implementation, we started finding that Unit4 has some limitations in terms of processes and automation. So we find MFL at a conference at the at one of the Unit4 yearly conference, and we've been introduced to this product, and we became a customers in 2019 Q4. Right now we are running the version 7.7 on premise. So we use both their desktop version as well as their web, but they're both running on our kind of own hardware, and we have about 2,000 users at the Metro Vancouver. So I want to give you a little example of the challenge number one that we have is the year-end rollover. So basically, after we went live the first year, we find the need that on a yearly basis, we need to push the commitment data in the new year. And that's because every year there is a new budget that has to be matched against the commitment, and whatever commitment that hasn't been finished paying has to be rolled into next year to deduct from the budget when you do funds check. So what happens is that there are tens of thousands of PO that gets created every year, and if we need to roll these PO over and these commitments related to the PO into the new year, there is just no fun way of doing this easily. I guess what you could do is go on to each of the PO, change the year, and click save. But to do that 1,000 times, 10,000 times is just not feasible. So what we did in our first year of our Unit4 implementation production journey, so we have this need. We didn't have a program to do this. What did we do? So we went and script the PO period to the new year. So everything was 2018 at that time. We basically took a criteria of what POs qualified to go into the next year, and we scripted into 2019. But that doesn't help with addressing the commitment issue, because this just really saving your PO into, or moving your PO into the new year, your commitments stay behind, and that's wrong. So once again, manually resaving, not feasible. So what we did was we created a .NET program. So we wrote our own program, and we created a SQL view that qualified the tens of thousands of POs that need to be moved into the new year. We created a program and fed those 10,000 PO numbers into Unit4 Web one by one through a .NET macro. So, you know, PO number one, you put that in, and then it automatically clicks save. And then it moves into the next one, PO number 15, and then we click save. So that program automated that for us. And then we put in a 10 seconds in between of the action. So in between putting in, you know, PO number 10, and, you know, our program says press tab to populate all the fields, and then wait for 10 seconds and then click save. This took 2 days to finish, and it had errors, and we had to go back and address all the errors. So this was a really tedious process, and it was error prone. Not the best way to really use Unit4 for, but it worked for us in the first year. We're happy that we got some creation like this. And then in the second year, because we know of MFL that can do exactly this function, we created MFL process to do this exact same operations, this automation. So we still had to script the PO period to the new year. That's you would have to have a criteria to identify the POs that needs to be moved. One point of interest is that you could actually use MFL to do that for you. We just decided to do it at the back end so that it's more cleaner for us. We know exactly what we're dealing with. And then we had to do this data cleanup with a script, just because sometimes when you move a PO into a new year, it doesn't save gracefully. If there are, say, for example, outstanding invoices, if you have some of those attributes that were closed down, or you have any kind of attribute issues, mostly, we would address that in a script. And then we created 4 MFL PO files. So as Ivan mentioned just now, how you create the Excel files, we did exactly that with Accelerator. So you would take their template, their Excel template, and use that as the basis of your Accelerator files, because you needed all their headings. And then you would populate the data of what you want to roll forward into the new year in the content of the 4 files. So then on the server, we ran 4 separate MFL processes. So that allows us to double up on the resources and to quadruple up on the resources. So we weren't running 10,000 files consecutively, one by one. We were running 4 at a time because each of the files would have a different PO number that you would run for. So we separated those into 4 batches and ran it all together, and it finished in 6 hours. So compared to doing 2-3 days of troubleshooting and then sitting there waiting for the macro to run, 6 hours. We were done with an error log that MFL produces, and then you can go back and check and say, okay, well, what did MFL think the error was, and then you try to address those, and you may want to just manually fix those up. So it was much easier, and it allowed us for full automation. So we just had to sit there and turn it on, and we walk away for several hours. And usually, interestingly, we do that on December 31st because that is the last day of the year before you have to roll it. So that's New Year's Eve. So we turn it on in the morning. We don't do anything about it for 6 hours. You come back, you're finished, and we were happy. So that was the roll over to the new year, and it worked really nice for us. Okay, challenges number 2 was an initiative we have as a business requirement we have from finance department that on a monthly basis, POs were to be identified and closed. So before we used MFL, which was it was just a process where we don't do that on a monthly basis. It would be a yearly basis where the financial analyst would identify all the POs that needs to be closed for the year because, say, for example, somebody opened a PO and it did get sent to the vendor, or the payment was finished, but somehow the system didn't close the PO down. So 9,000 plus 10,000 PO lines would be identified before the year end, and about 6 or 7 financial analysts would take those POs and then go to their department, their clients, and say, "Hey, we need to close these. Can you confirm? We can close this?" These confirmations goes back to the accounting operations department, and a clerk would manually literally look through those 9,000 POs and close them down one by one. So as you can see, that's significant investment of time from finance, and it's also error prone. They might have missed a line to close. It took them, I think, one person a month to do this at the year end in November. So I addressed what we did manually before. So with MFL, it was similar process as to how we did this with the rollover. We created a view to capture what needs to be closed down on a monthly basis. So the data set would be created as a Unit4 Accelerator report, and it gets sent to the client for review automatically. So based on an attribute of what those attributes are, in relation to the attributes, we send those automatically to different people in the different departments so they can just go and review them. And what they would do is that if there's some POs that they determine, hey, we can't close this, they would go back to finance and say, okay, we need to exclude it from your load. And that's it. And then what happens is that on a monthly basis, we wouldn't have the 9,000 lines to close. We may only have 1,000, or less. So we use, again, Unit4 Accelerator to create a file that captures those 1,000 POs. And then on a monthly basis, we created an Intel agent to monitor a folder where Unit4 Accelerator file is generated. And when that Intel agent sees a new file in that folder, it automatically starts a command line process and start going through those POs that we said that we would close, and it closes them down. So this way, at the year end, there's no more 9,000 lines of verification. Everything is closed on a monthly basis, and it's a very clean process that saves finance a lot of time to deal with at the year end. Once again, it helps us tremendously. So as you can kind of see how we're using this, very different from how MFL originally. I believe they started with mostly master data and transactional data to begin with, to help with these type of things. We took it to a level where we're automating our business. It's an extension of our business process. So this is the Intel agent that we created. Just wanted to show you what that looks like. So on the left here is an Intel agent that monitors a a folder to say, well, do you have a new file? And if you do, then kick off this Unit4 server process and run a query to do certain type of processing. On the right-hand side, you can see that it's it sends automatically an email as a confirmation to parties involved to say this process is kicked off. And then at the bottom there, you can see that that's the command line prompt that runs the file that we saw, and then just generated it started the process. Okay, so last use case that we had was the spending authority update. So spending authority is a concept of which fund checks were to be performed, and for different users of the company to approve requisitions based on their positions. So this spending authority is stored in a flexi table. It's based on the cost center / position kind of combination to see what a cost center you have to approve for. But the challenge is that when employees, they change position, as people move in and out of the company, you would need to update the flexi table all the time. So here's a use case. Imagine you have 5 positions that needs to be changed that month, and each position have they manage 50 different cost centers. So 5 times 50, you have 250 lines that you have to update in Unit4. So that's tedious because you would go into flexi, you find these 5 positions, you find 50 cost center you need to update. You may have to delete them, you may have to change them. It's just a lot of different work, right? So this is a screenshot of what we have to do. We have to go into the maintenance flexi field and load this flexi field and then go and change those for 250 times. So with MFL, we enter the changes on the MFL file. So we have a template of which we give to the financial analyst. They enter the change on the MFL template file. And what they would do is they would save the file and put it on a share folder on our network. Once again, Intel agent to the rescue monitors this folder and process all the changes automatically at night. So all they have to do is fill out the Excel, dump it on a folder, and it's automated. Off we go, and it's finished. So again, it's an extension of our existing process, saves us time. So what it meant for Metro Vancouver, especially value proposition, was that it automated our business process and saved resources, and it's just ensure accuracies. So the MFL actually is a wrapper, if you can call it a wrapper, to most of the Unit4 web services. Meaning Unit4 may have 100 different web services for you to modify requisition, insert requisition, delete, do all different things, right? But you would need a .NET program. You would need an actual external program to help you to do automation if you don't have anything to manage these web services. So MFL allows you to extend these web services by calling them on your behalf by providing that template. So you really don't need to crack open and create any .NET programs, and you're able to use all the web services. Like, I don't know of any other way you would be able to use the web service without creating a program unless you use MFL. So, and most of the web services are available via MFL. So that means most of Unit4 integration and web services is at your just your disposal with the Excel templates with MFL. So what that does is it connects clients, it connects operations, and connects IT. Because now you're allowed, your clients and finance and IT can really just be talking about a template that somebody needs to go and process and modify it or whatever, and then give to IT. IT will help you modify it, will help you automate it and process it. So you connect all these people without having to have a kind of intense coding sessions. Last slide here. I know I'm running a little late here. There's a lot to talk about. Last slide here is our support experience with MFL has been pretty good. They are quick to turn around. So when we open a ticket with them, usually it takes about 6 hours to 12 hours for them to get back to us. And all of their suggestions have been really good. And every time that we have something that they can't do with the existing product, we give suggestions, and a lot of time our suggestions have been accepted, and they make that into the next release. And also their staff are very knowledgeable in terms of what they can and cannot do, and give very good advisors. So that's our experience with Metro Vancouver and MFL. Hope that you find that useful, and I will turn this back to MFL.
Okay, thank you, Ivan.
Thank you.
I will.
Okay, so I think Ian, you want to share the screen again?
Yeah, I will go back to the Q&A.
Yes. Okay, so I think there are a few questions. Let's go through it. So the first one, well, actually it's from one of our customers, PHSA. How can I get in the Unit4 menu? So Olga, in this case, you will need to request Unit4 to install what they call the MFL ACT. Okay, I mean you can always open a ticket in our support, and they will guide you how you can do it with Unit4, requesting it to Unit4. Okay, is it possible to do the validations of value relations? Not sure if John, do you know what?
Is it possible to do the validation of value relations? Yes, the relations. I mean, as long as they are in the Excel, should be validated. Which as long as they come in the accepted values tab, they will be validated. Okay, so this would be the answer. If you want something more specific, maybe we can discuss separately. Yeah, but there shouldn't be problem.
Then many people is asking for us to share the video. Yeah, that's not a problem. After the webinar, we will. I mean, since this is being recorded, we will send this to all people who registered to the webinar. Okay, so you can share the video across the company, your colleagues and all that. So if you're interesting. Okay, yes, I'm recording. Okay, currently split a file when the load is too big. How can avoid splitting files? So, Glenn, well, I'm not sure. I mean, I guess in that case we need to look at the specific case. Why the file is very big. I mean, I know there are some limitation on the Excel itself. It's Microsoft Excel has got some limitations, so maybe that's why you need to split. But that also can easily, I mean, you can easily handle this with our support if since you seems to be a existing customer. Okay. Now, okay, people asking for the price. I mean, regarding price, we're not going to talk here on the webinar. So our recommendations, we will share. John, can you help me to share our emails in the chat, or also you can go to our website, okay? But if you can type our email, so we can contact you and have a specific discussion about the pricing and all that, okay? Can the product load into existing workflows such as? Yes, so David is asking whether the pro can load into existing workflow for project master files or one of the. Yeah, I mean MFL, since it's built on top of the standard structure of Unit4, it supports workflow. So if, for example, you have in your project master file, you have workflow activated. When you do upload information or you upload a new project, for example, it will go to workflow. Okay, same as you would do when you key in manually. Okay, so it supports workflow, it supports even amendment logging, which is another standard function. Okay, so all functions are there. Yes, Olga, please feel free. I mean, I think Jon is sharing our email, so feel free to contact us to check in that particular case that you are looking after.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Does MFL also? Yes.
Sorry. Can I do the last question?
Yeah.
So what about, because I'm familiar either with the MFL and iConnect, and my question is, will some of the, or any of the capabilities from MFL will be applicable to the iConnect in the near future? Because iConnect is for ERP8 and MFL is for ERP7 and later versions, right? So will be there any?
Yes, actually, we are working together with Unit4 to keep improving iConnect. At the end of the day, the idea is to cover even more things with iConnect that we currently cover with MFL. At the end of the day, you know, it's a product, even Unit4 ERPX, you know, it's a living product, right? So same for iConnect. Same for iConnect. So yes, there is a huge investment in iConnect and also MFL, but yeah.
Okay, because that would be highly dependent on APIs, right? Made available.
Correct. So that's why we are collaborating together with Unit4 R&D on that.
Okay. And for instance, because you've mentioned in the beginning that perform selective data copy between clients, from what I'm aware, iConnect is not yet possible to do that, right? And
no.
Okay. And this is in plans.
Well, you can do it manually. I mean, you can
of course,
information and then upload it into another client. Yes.
Yeah.
But that's something that is in our roadmap as well for iConnect.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
No problem.
No problem.
So let's continue. Okay. That MFL also wrap. I think does MFL also wrap the web APIs? No, in this case, MFL is not using the APIs, the standard APIs. As I mentioned in the presentation initially, we have developed a custom web service, which is based on the platform on Unit4 platform. So even though it's not based on the Unit4 APIs, in the case of MFL, it works. So it does all the validations exactly the same as Unit4 would do. Okay, so there is no risk. In difference, iConnect, yes, iConnect works based on APIs, but on APIs from ERPX. Okay, so that's a difference there. But I don't want to move so much to iConnect because today's webinar is for MFL. Probably we will do another webinar for ERPX in the future.
Yeah, David was asking also about the journal entry registration. Yes, we do support journal entries. Okay, so based on GL07, what we do is to complete the Excel first, and we call the GL07 in order to upload the information. So yes, it's covered within MFL. Exactly the same as purchase order uploads and requisition uploads or massive updates, of course.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
Also, I think Glenn is asking, can we use MFL to delete incorrect loaded rows? No, MFL, I think also Jon mentioned, it doesn't delete data, only insert and update data, okay? In order to delete, and this is for security reasons, I mean, because it could be quite dangerous, if you extract data into Excel, you delete and upload. So for security reasons, if you want to delete, you need to use a standard the standard delete process within Unit4. Okay, the server process to delete attributes and things like that. Okay, can you? Bernard is asking, can you reopen close PRS again using MFL? Jon, do you know?
PRs meaning is purchase requisitions or what
I
do you
guess
mean?
so. I guess so.
Basically, what we do, not only for requisitions, for all the master files we were mentioning during the webinar, if the web screen of Unit 4 allows you to do it manually, then MFL will allow you to do it. Okay, so there are some options here where, let's say, for a purchase order, okay, if it's invoiced, then you cannot update specific things, etc. So wherever Unit 4 doesn't allow you in a standard way to do it manually in the web screen, okay, MFL will also won't allow you to do it. This is the general rule.
Yeah.
And all
So,
that Unit 4 allows, MFL will allow us, of course.
yeah, so we use the rules from Unit 4, as I mentioned, not only on the validations, but anything that Unit 4 allows you to do, closing, changing, and all that on the web, it will also be allowed in MFL. Because we're on the same platform, basically. Open. Okay, thank you. Index. So here in Excel file, the signature for. No, I mean, you can modify the Excel, so the Excel structure, as long as this function, the protective workflow is not enabled, and an MFL will only recognize those sheets that are useful for
MFL, yeah.
For MFL, basically, yeah. Okay, well, I think everything. So, well, thank you so much for your time. As I mentioned, we will share this the recording of this webinar to all people who registered previously. And again, if you have any questions, you want to know more about MFL, please feel free to contact us. I think Jon have shared his personal email. You have here our corporate website, our MFL website, and our standard company email as well. So you can contact us through any of those channels. And also, I would like to thank Ivan for the great presentation you have done, and well, also Jon. So thank you so much to everybody for your time in this webinar. I'm looking forward to do another webinar with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Take care. Bye.